Now I'm gonna go try this over on Facebook because we are at the top of the hour. Just give it a second. People are coming in. Okay. Okay, let's get rocking and rolling. Let's do this. Welcome, welcome. Thank you for coming. So excited that we are gathered today. This feels like the culmination of 11 years of work or play or whatever you want to call it. Oh, hang on. You can hear me on the other page. See, I'm a newbie to technology. I've only run this tech company for about 11 years. All right, so let's get going. So thank you for coming. Thrilled that you are here. If there's any troubles in the technical stuff, just raise your hand or pop in the chat and hopefully I'll see it and attend to it. We're going to take about an hour and we're going to have some fun. And my wish is that you find something in what we discussed today that completely changes things for you and you have some ahas. So let's do it. Many of you I know, some of you I don't know. So I'm going to give you like a 2-minute introduction to my background so that you know where I come from. And some of you may not know, because if you've met me in the last couple of years, you'd be like, I didn't know that. So I graduated from an Ivy League college 10 years ago, and I instantly went into the chimney sweep business, became a chimney sweep, because I wanted to get my hands dirty, figure out what in the world I was here to do on this planet, because they didn't really teach me that in the fancy Ivy League college. And inside of 2 years, I opened up 3 offices in 3 states. And I got really bit by that entrepreneurial bug. I was like, wow, this stuff is the coolest stuff since sliced bread. Give me more. Ended up on the West Coast, fell into a string of high-tech startups. And that culminated in with a partner of mine, raising a few $1 million to get a .com off the ground. And that was a really exciting time to be doing what we were doing. It was just before the bust of 2000, and we sold the company before all that happened, and it was just a great ride. And then I became a mother. Thank you, Spirit. Became a mother of 3 amazing children who are now 17, 19, and 22. How? And I was trying to figure out how to balance work and family. And I thought, women really need help with this. So I launched into sort of the coaching field and got into that. And long story shorter, I came out 10 plus years ago, deciding that it was time to help women figure out how to make more money doing what they loved so they could have the work-life balance that they're professionally fulfilled and be there for their kids if that's what they want. Turns out there's really no one-size-fits-all solution to that, but off I go, helping women make more money, which was fantastic. And then I hit a wall about 5 years into the business where things stopped working. Anybody know what that feels like? They just stopped working. And I was at burnout and I was in debt. And so I pulled the plug on the business and I decided, all right, starting over, let's just reinvent. And that's when I fell into this thing that I now call genetic design. Whether you refer to human design or the gene keys, they are 2 modalities that will rock your world and change your life. And you will forever be, grateful that you stumbled into it. Recently, I realized that what I've been doing the last year, because my life imploded again about a year ago, is that I've been rebuilding from the ground up using my genetic design in every area of my life, of my business and my life. And so we're going to go over those different areas and how I mapped my design to my business so that today, just a year after doing that, we are more profitable than we have ever been. And I'm pretty confident in saying our clients it's the most client happiness that I've ever experienced. And those are the 2 things that matter to me. Are we profitable and are the clients happy? Are we doing our job? And I'm convinced it's because I sort of cracked the code on how do you be you in business and make money and serve the clients you're here to serve. So most of us get into business, right? I think everybody here is in business because you love what you do. and you want to help people and you want to save the planet, or, make somebody's life a little bit better with whatever sweet spot genius thing zone that you do. And we've been taught, you do what you love and the money will follow. And I know that doesn't always work out. So for this first part, I'm going to go over the businessy stuff, what we've been taught, pieces to business that we need to look at, and then take a look at how to map a design to the specific business elements. At the end, I promised in some of the promotional stuff, I am going to talk about Elon Musk, and we can throw Oprah Winfrey in there as well, because it's just really fun to take a look at people who are successful, who are clearly deeply aligned with who they are. So I'm going to throw slides on, and it's going to be a little slide heavy, but I think it just assists in getting some of these concepts out. All right, so I believe there are at least 6 deadly myths that I swallowed hook, line, and sinker. Let's go over them quickly. See if you can connect. Do what the experts tell me. That's all I need to do, and all will be well. And I'm here to tell you, no. What you want to do is go from the inside out. So all that fantastic expert advice works for your mentor, and it may or may not work for you. So we want you to know you, go inside out, and then take that great advice and filter it through. We'll talk about this later. Number 2, I got to just pull myself up by my bootstraps, make it happen, just do it. That's the ethos in the business world. And it has worked. It has created the Industrial Revolution. It has created a lot of wonderful inventions. And I'm here to tell you what's so exciting. This is part 2 to what we're going to talk about today, is there are new paradigms emerging. Hallelujah. And many of us have known and have been waiting for those new paradigms to emerge. And just to use a code word, it's that the divine feminine, the other way of moving through the world, is rising to meet with this masculine, just do it, make it happen energy. Both are important, but we've been lacking in this new one, which has been around for eons, but has just been sort of stamped out by this, just do it, just do it, just do it. Number 3, if things aren't going your way, work harder, like get to it, girl, like get up earlier, work harder, don't have any fun, just you're doing something wrong, you're not following the rules, and this whole mentality. Here's one, doing stuff you hate is just part of business. It's just part of life. Like it's just, if you want to be successful in business, you have to fill in the blank, whatever your fill in the blank is. For some people, it's public speaking, and they're just, they don't want to do that. Or for some people, it's, I really have to, write all the time, and I don't have anything to say. And so whatever it is that you're convinced you should be doing that you don't like to do, you don't have to do it. You don't have to do it. Stop doing these things. Here's a good one. Comparanoia will kill us. Well, it works for her. And to be honest, I'm better than her, or I'm smarter than her, or I work harder than her, but it's not working for me like it's working for her. Why is that? Well, I don't know why, but I just need to try harder. Like, you see how these fold back in on themselves. And the last one is, I need to get a degree. I got to get that certificate. I got to get more training before I can. Or sometimes I hear that I got to get the perfect website. I got to do this. I got to do that before I can be successful. Not saying that these things aren't important at some point in the life cycle of your business. Yes, it's helpful to have a website, although I didn't have one for 8 months of this year because I took it down. And when I first started my business, a good mentor said to me, you don't need a website to start making money. And we hit 6 figures without a website. So all of the things that the authorities tell you may or may not be true for you. Now, I'm not saying that you might not want to brush up on a modality or get a little extra this or that, so you just feel more prepared to do what you want to do, but you don't need it. So those are the deadly myths. Where do they leave us? Not in a very good place. Usually burnt out, broke, frustrated. And here's the kicker for me. It left me, this was about 4 or 5 years into the business. It left me feeling like, what's wrong with me? Like, there must be something wrong with me, because I know I'm smart and I work hard and I'm ambitious, and it's not working out. So something's wrong with me. And 92% of us are actually doing the wrong things. to get what we want, because we're listening to the myths that I just very briefly described. And so let me just reiterate, what works for your guru, your friend, your mother, your colleague may or likely probably won't work as well for you. Okay, so can we just move on and say, thank you for sharing the past 100 years of the way to do business. There's a new sheriff in town and you have this unique blueprint. You know, I call it the genetic design. By the way, pop in the chat and tell me if you're brand new to design, this concept of genetic design. Just let me know how many, like within the last 6 months, or you just feel like you don't know much about it, whether it's human design or the gene keys, just pop in there if you're new. And it is a game changer. And what I'm calling this now is the true north business model, because you have a true north. And when we listen to it and we follow it, it will not lead you astray. And when you know what it is, anything that comes across the transom, any decision, any challenge, anything, you have an inner GPS, you have an inner true north compass. There you go, yeah, no, you know what, that works for her, or she's telling me I should do that, but I know better. I know better. And then the super cool thing now, which is why this is so timely, is that new paradigms are emerging, which I sort of referred to when I talked about the deadly myths. New paradigms in business are emerging. This, I don't know if you recognize what an exciting time this is to be alive and in business. I know it's a little destabilizing, like what? But when you have your true north, either your business model or your life model, they're the same thing. Then anything that comes at you, you're like, oh, okay, thanks for sharing. Like you're going to buzz up here while the world goes like this. Yes, we may get swooped up. Of course we will. But it's time to be in the sandbox. Okay. So what are we going to do? Well, this brings easeful success, which is what we all want. So what I want to do next is go over, I parsed out 6 different areas in business that we all know we need to manage. And I want to talk a little bit about how to approach these a little bit differently. And then I'm going to give you examples. So let me get into this. So I call them the hot 6 topics of the model. So if you want to take your business and line it up with who you are, here's the roadmap. First of all, unique and primary purpose. I know this sounds obvious, but it goes so much deeper than I want to help people. I want to save the world. I can, it goes so much deeper than that. And it actually parses out more specifically there's a purpose to who you are as a being. And then there's the work you're here to do in the world. And when you marry your purpose with the work you're here to do with the world, yowza. Like everything bounces back. Any program I want to start, anybody I want to bring on board to help me, I'm going to bounce. That's the litmus test. Does it line up with my unique genetic purpose, which is revealed by my design? And is it in line with the work I'm actually here to do? A little side note for those who are new to the design world. These were channeled modalities over the last, okay, thank you. Over the last many decades. And if you're here, you're a believer. If you're a skeptic, I got nothing for you. All I can say is I was a skeptic when I found these things, didn't believe it, tested it to the hilt. And now everybody needs to know their innate genetic design. It's an energetic blueprint. There's nurture and there's nature. Your energetic nature is what I'm talking about. It's your genetic blueprint, roadmap. How you were raised is a whole different conversation, which I don't touch. This is who you innately are. So when I say purpose and work, your design reveals that. And when you start to savor and sip on this stuff and just let it work itself out, it's fun and things become much easier. Number 2, the obvious. How do I make money doing what I'm supposed to be doing? There are so many proven models and proven steps and the 5-step system and the client attraction, yada, yada, yada. Thank you for sharing. Those might work, but I need to know what is the best model for me according to who I am. Third one, pricing, which I know, especially for women entrepreneurs, can be such a challenge. And often some women I've met tend to give themselves away. And so really, if you can find your pricing algorithm, if you can find the right place to stand and marry that to the right pricing models, and I'll share more about this in a minute or in the next section, then you'll get over the pricing anxiety that so many people have. And you'll just be like, yeah, this makes sense. This is in alignment with who I am. For heaven's sakes, how many of us are just so overwhelmed with marketing, that thing called marketing? Like there's Instagram and Pinterest and Clubhouse and Facebook and YouTube and email. And I mean, it goes on and on and on. And when you get a sense of who you are, you can very ninja-like select which ones will feel good and which ones will likely have the most success for you. This is a big one. What size group am I here to work with? Am I here to speak to thousands, or am I here to work with like groups of 5? And your design will tell you that. And when you realize that you don't need to be like your friend who does speak to thousands, then you start to get in your own zone. And finally, a lot of people are challenged by finding help or building a team or having partnerships, and this works in your personal life too. So to know your design, and then you can actually get cued into other people's designs and get the right match. So I use this all the time when I'm bringing someone onto my team. I can't imagine not doing it this way anymore. Okay, so this is what we're going to step through. And as we do this, take a breath, and you can think with your mind, but feel in your body which are hot spots for you. Because at the end of this big chart, we want to get a sense of where are you off, or where are you not certain of what you should be doing. Maybe you're like, I don't know how to do any of it, but maybe there's areas in your business that are a good match. Because here's the thing, when you talk about Elon Musk or Oprah Winfrey, they didn't study their human design in their gene keys, I don't think. They found their design. They let it lead them. They've been marching to the beat of their own drummer their entire careers. So you have also. So you'll be doing certain things that simply make sense and just feel good, and you just found your way there. Often when people get turned on to their design, they're like, oh, yeah, and now I'm not crazy. I know I'm not crazy. Hallelujah.
Yeah. No.
By the way, can everyone mute themselves? Someone's got some background noise.
¿Y ellos tienen o no?
They have them.
Okay. Like, okay,
I feel
unos
like they're
dos,
good to
tres.
have for James.
Hold on, folks.
Lauren,
Maybe 1 or 2.
Soden,
There we go. Okay. I didn't mute myself, did I? No. So soft eyes, because this is a lot of left, right brain stuff. So soft eyes, and feel it in your system as to which areas really resonate. You feel like you've got a good sense of, and which ones where there are holes. So when I started my business, I started out as a coach and a teacher. I'm going to start a coaching practice. Makes sense, right? I want to help women do this and that, and I'm going to teach. And that's all fine and good, except I actually thought someone was waiting there. I actually burned out doing that. And that's because my purpose and work is I'm here to build. I'm actually here to architect businesses and architect my business. And I'm here to be an evangelist. So if I'm over here coaching and teaching, which I still do some of, but hallelujah, I have an amazing team who helps me do it, then I can't do what I'm actually here to do, which is I'm actually here to build the new emerging paradigms, and I'll just pop it in there, which has a more collective focus, and it's called Synarky and Heterarchy. And you don't even need to worry about the stuff that I'm doing in my business, but I'm just here to share that I discovered that my purpose was not what I thought it was. And it's something different. And the work, the way that out pictures is different, and it matches up with the new paradigms beautifully. You will also. And so part of this is just to cue you in on the new paradigms, the emerging paradigms in the marketplace, in the world. So as you get clear on your design, you also can match it up with what's happening. And what's so fantastic is that you're here today. So it tells me that you are a leader and that you're ready for this. Like, you're just like, bring it, bring it, bring it. Let's do this. You've just been like, if you've been like so many, you've just been sitting, waiting, wondering, how do I move forward? And nothing is the way it used to be, but it never felt good back then anyway. And so anyway, okay. So moving to the second one. Oh, all right. Hold on. So the money model. So when I started my business and I was following all the rules, in the coaching business, you make sales page offers, which are, you've all been to webinars, 90-minute webinars. And at the end, there's an offer for like $1,000 program or $400 program, whatever, right? And I cannot even tell you how many of those I tried and failed at. Oh my goodness. And if any of you have done that, that's a lot of work. Technically, content-wise, sales-wise, preparation-wise, all that stuff. Never worked for me. And then the money model was to do one-on-one coaching. So I was schooled and trained in doing that. And like I said, it worked well. I was able to handle like 15 or 20 one-on-one clients at a time, which for me was a lot, but it left me burnt out. And now my money model is so different. So we offer coaching, but I'm not going to be the one to do it. And I'll say more about that later on another part of it. But my money model is not the classic coaching model, which it has some pieces in it, but it uses this thing called Synarky and hierarchy because that's tied up with my purpose. And so any programs that I charge for, so how I make money, is going to have that baked in. So, and it may not look that different to you as a client. You might go, I just joined your program. What's the big deal? But there's a difference. There's an ethos and an architecture behind it that makes it hum. And I know that's why our clients get incredible results, is because this whole thing called Synarky, it's rising tide lifts all boats. It's we help each other. It's cross-pollination. It's collaboration. And yes, all of that is part of the money model, is what I'm saying. Boy, if I could learn how to use this. The emerging paradigms right now, just so you have a clue, keyed into where's the market and culture going for business. Decentralization. It's no longer the experience economy. It used to be, not even like 5 minutes ago, it was, I want an experience. I don't want to just read things. I don't want to just be behind a screen. I want to, be immersed. And now it's actually the transformation economy. This is what they're calling it. So this is your time, right? Because I know you all offer transformation to your people. So finding your money model is obviously key to running a business, and taking what works from the marketplace, filtering it through your design, and then you'll have something that runs quite smoothly. Pricing. Wow. So I've been around the block on pricing. You all know the classic coaching model, right? One size fits all pricing, and high ticket, high ticket, high ticket, high ticket. And if you build your high ticket private coaching practice, and then you might have a lower offer and then some freebies, and there's this whole tier system, which is fine, except it doesn't work for me anymore. I can't stand it. Because when you believe that everybody has their own true north, their own innate design, then $10,000 for one person is a no-brainer, and for another person it's like, what, are you crazy? So what I've done is I have a couple different things I'm playing with to make it feel good for me. And again, I know this is why my clients are getting incredible results, and I know this is why we're more profitable than we've ever been, is I do something called differentiated pricing, where for my higher level programs, I meet with each person and I find their sweet spot price. I have a exercise I made up to find their spot where they're stretching, but they're not in trauma, because then everybody in the program starts at the same place, and that just feels good. And then because this is also wrapped up in my money model and whatnot, I've had clients who have paid off a sister's debt. There was a group not that long ago that one was in just overwhelming debt, and another one was financially free. And so that it was just this beautiful sisterhood that happened. As a group, we tithe. I ask my clients, where should we give a 10% of our money to? And so this whole thing around pricing and charging, the old way kind of works, parts of it work, but not really for me. I have to have it my way. And then I get really excited. And anybody who's been a client of mine, they'll tell you, like, I don't really know what I just bought, Linda, but it just sounds like it just resonates. It's like it resonates to you because it resonates to me. And if your business is resonating to you, then you got your bat signal out, and people will just feel it and they'll move towards it. Pricing in the new paradigms outside of my business, outside of your business, it's very exciting. The gift economy, you'll see those terms bandied about, which is more of like the old barter. I'll give you 2 horses for 5 sheep, kind of thing, but obviously updated. Cryptocurrency is here to stay. It's decentralized, back up to the money model. It's a decentralized system. No, I know nothing really about cryptocurrency, except that it's a fascinating architecture behind it, designed to take the hierarchy out of it. Hierarchy is how we were raised up to this point, where gurus, students, teachers, students, and this is more distributed. I am watching some incredible donation models, but not donation, I have that in quotes, not donation like charity, but more you're part of this community and you want it to thrive. And so give as you can. And tied with that is the name your own. I'm sure you've seen that. You can pay 37, 47, 97, what feels right. So you'll see a lot of pricing paradigms. And that's exciting because the old ones are just so, to me anyway. Now, that's just me. You may love the old pricing models, and if they work for you, great, stick with them. But it's in my design to to test things out and to always be looking for the next and the new. And so that's just where I'm at with that. 4th one is marketing. Get out there, get on all those channels, like I said just a bit ago. And when you know who you are, you can select the ones that will be right for you. So I used to run myself crazy trying to do it all, as maybe you can, and I spent a lot of money. This is the other thing. When you don't know who you are, this is why we're more profitable than ever. When you don't know who you are, when you don't have your true north business model or your true north life model dialed in, you spend a lot of money trying to do things or get help to do things that you shouldn't be doing in the first place. I can't even tell you all of the initiatives I thought I needed to start. And then of course I couldn't do them. I didn't have time or the expertise. So I hired this and I hired that and hired this. No. So now in my business, I use 2 channels, 2. And with those 2 channels, I still need help because my design, I don't know if you've noticed, maybe you have, I come out and I go in, and I come out and I go in. And it's in my design to do that, like to try and make my introverted side of me. I'm actually a severe introvert, which most people don't believe. So I have to honor that introverted side of me. So I have to put systems in place where I don't lose consistency with my community. So I have help. I have a wonderful person who helps my voice stay in front of the people I want to serve. Because on those days where I just don't feel like hopping on Facebook or emailing my community, I have to adapt for that. I used to think this was a liability, like, man, I can never be successful if I can't be like so-and-so, because God, she posts 5 times a day. And God, why can't I post 5 times a day? I will never post 5 times a day. When I have something to say, I'll say it and you'll listen. And when I don't, I'm going to be quiet. And that's okay. I don't have to just get out there. Marketing in the new paradigms, you already know this. The obvious, be real. Be real. We've all had way too many webinars, sales pages, promos, buy now, 4 hours left, using the tactics of scarcity, urgency. I'm not saying those are all bad, but I'm saying you gotta be authentic about it. Those are sales devices that work, but know, like, and trust is number 1. And the fact that you're here, I know that you're likable and you're trustable. I know that you are. So I say that because if you're somebody who feels like you're not polished enough, you don't have the right elevator pitch. Has anybody heard my elevator pitch? I don't have an elevator pitch. Basically, my elevator pitch is I I don't have an elevator pitch because what we do doesn't fit in a box. That's my elevator pitch. But you know I'm authentic. And again, people will buy from me and they don't know what they bought, but they know I'm trustable. They know I'm trustworthy and they know I'm the real deal. So take all that marketing, bring it down. And once you understand some of the elements in your design, it will just help you pick and choose a little more easily. So the bigger, the better, right? That serve as many as you can. Thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of people. Yet guess what? When I tried to do that, it was a disaster because to reach lots of people, you have to do certain marketing things, which were not a fit for me. So they just didn't work. This is my sweet spot. Look how many people are in this group right now. There are exactly 15 listeners. I'm number 16. I do this every time. And I used to put out there, like, let me know if you're coming, because I don't really want more than 15 or 20 at the most. Because when it's just in my design, there's an element in our designs that tell us, are we here just to work alone, in partnership with up to 15 people across a network, or the big stage? There's something in your design that will tell you that. And once you know that, wow, it's a game changer. When I've had groups that were more than 15 in a program, I shrink them down into smaller groups, like little pods, so I can deal with the little pods. So there's a way my money model can work, even though I'm not really supposed to work with more than 15 at a time. And that's just a game changer. So I can instantly look at your design and tell you exactly which of the 6 different categories of groups you should be working with. Yeah, so there's that. And then the emerging paradigms are all about, again, rising tide lifts all boats. The era of, I don't want to say billionaires, I got nothing against billionaires, but the era of hierarchies and haves and have-nots has run its course, right? I believe in merit. I believe in being rewarded for the amazing work that you do. And I believe that as a society and in business, now business is catching up, that it has to work for everybody, whether that's business or the environment or healthcare, whatever it is, it has to work for everyone. Now, we don't have solutions because we have old thinking around all of those things, but that's where it's going. And the final thing is team. So I used to hire contractors, as I said before, to get everything done. And if they had an expertise, if I knew they were an expert in it, then great, I would just hire them because I needed them to do that. But now I look at their designs because we have to dance. And there's different combinations that will work well together and won't work so well together. And that's just helpful to know. Also in personal relationships and with kids and everything else. But you've heard me talk about that before, I'm sure. But when you're bringing on team, it just makes it so much more fun when you have the right people in place. And the emerging paradigms, again, these terms, synarchy, heterarchy, all that means is cross-pollination, collaboration, and it means the feminine, the yin is now marrying with the yang, which is that male, go, just do it energy. So teams work differently. You might have hierarchies within a group, but there will be cross-pollination and cross support. So for example, one of my clients, actually, I think she's here today, had a dream about me while we were in the program together. And she offered this little nugget of information for me during the program. I'm like, that is fantastic. Like, she taught me. That's amazing. And as I said, we had another one who paid off someone else's debts. And so, that no one's in charge, but everyone's in charge. And there's a balance of energies and there's a balance of power as well. So, whew. All right. That's enough of the sort of that side brain. Let's talk about you. So as I went through these, and I just took my business as an example, let's talk about where you are now and what your model could look like. So let me take the high view of my business, and then I want to sort of inspire you to just think about yours as we move forward. So my business is more profitable and more successful client-wise than it's ever been in my 11 years, because I'm clear on what I'm here to do as a human being. And I know the kind of work I'm here to express in the world. So what that does is it means when I have these ideas, which by the way, in my design, I'm going to bounce all over the place. I'm going to try this, going to try that. If you notice, like, oh, she's out with this and now she's out with that. That's in my design. But I'm going to be building the community and the infrastructure and bringing in the right people to help me fulfill this. I'm only going to work with a certain number of people at a time. And I'm not going to be doing one-on-one work because I'm meant to work with 3 to 15 people. So for me to go back to that old model of one-on-one coaching is not a good use of my energies. I love it, but it's not what I'm here to do. So that was huge for me. My pricing models have to fit with what I see coming down the pike and what I know to be old and crusty. And so I've got this different kind of pricing model. The marketing, I just do what feels good and what feels right when it feels right. And I don't like, there's no have-tos in my marketing. Even though there's a lot I could do and perhaps would be good if I did do, but I just do what I do. And I know that the community that my business is not just about me, it's about you, and it's about what we can do together because together we're better. And I also know that the right people who come into my, either as clients or collaborators or team members, are going to be a nice synergistic fit design-wise. So that is what I've crafted. Now, on the practical side of things, I've done things like I've revamped my my money back end, the accounting and the technology and all the programs and all of this and that. But those are just some of the practicalities that go along with realigning your business to who you are. Now, I did a total redo. I did a total business makeover. That's what this thing is called, right? You may not have to. If you're starting from scratch, fantastic. You can start on the right foot. And if everything's imploded, like it did for me a year ago, fantastic. You can start from scratch. And if you're somewhere along the path already, fantastic. You just make a tweak in one of these 6. You don't have to do them all, one of them, and you can exponentially shift your business. So that's what's so exciting. So 2 things about what we're doing here today. It's called what's it called? Extreme Makeover Business Edition, because I want to start this series where I take a look at 1 or 2 people's businesses and your designs offline and then bring it online. We're going to do this about twice a month, and you can be in the hot seat and I can help you figure out how to tweak a certain part of your business to be more effective and more successful. So that's one of the things that we're doing to get the word out about this. Other thing that let me back up. What can be challenging about this, if you don't have a guide, right, is that we're just heavily indoctrinated into the way things are and the way things we've been taught. And what's interesting about my design is it's really fascinating. One of my shadow areas is this blind following of authority. So of course I'm going to be teaching about this, right? Like break the rules. But indoctrination runs deep, conditioning runs deep, I think, especially in business, because we see the successful people and we see what they're doing. And so we must have to do that, not so much. So the challenge are indoctrination. I wouldn't expect you to know how to do what I just described. This has been a 5 to 10 year process for me. The great news is it doesn't have to be a 5 to 10 year process for you because I've cracked the code for you, figured it out. And change is sometimes not easy or desirable, right? So, so those can be, I want to be upfront, like, okay, I've got my chart and I'm ready to go and let's do this. Okay, well, we've got to just be patient, be gentle, and have fun with this, because when you start to play with this, everything changes. The True North Business Model Consultation is, if you go to this, I should probably put this in the chat, shouldn't I? Let me stop sharing for a second. I can't walk and chew gum. The consultation is not a phone consultation. It's a application form for you to fill out to get a sense of where you are in all of this. You know, how does your chart look? You know, and can I help you? Can we help you? I don't know. Do you want to be on an episode of this show? Do you want to be in the hot seat? Do we want to hop on the phone for 15 minutes and I can give you some pointers? Do we want to, I don't have a, believe it or not, well, you can believe if you know my design. I don't have a, oh, join this program. I don't have a program. I just have a, you need to know this and we need together figure out how to activate this within you so that your business takes off. So let me get over to the chat room. I'll put that link in and I'd like you to fill this out. Oh, thank you, Rainbow. You like my pricing exercise. I like it too. It's fun. Here is where you can apply or connect with me and fill this out, because let's take a look. I'm not sure I can't help. It's helpful if you're at a certain stage in your business development for me to be helpful. That doesn't mean you have to have your business up and running. It means you need to not be resistant to change. It means you need to be open to letting go of the old beliefs and things like that. It doesn't mean you have to have a certain level of expertise. It means you have to be open, because these are new muscles, new muscles, you know, they get sore, right? So let's see. So I'm going to pause since I have talked to Blue Streak for 40 minutes, and let me see if there's any questions. Okay, any questions or comments? You can just unmute yourself. And if not, we're going to move on to some examples. Okay. That was a lot. Yeah, Terry, go ahead.
Hi. Yeah, I have a question. So when you're working with your team, or you want to hire someone on or start working with someone, and you don't know their design, you can't just say, "Oh, give me your birth date. I want to see your chart." I mean, how do you discern if they're the right person for you?
Well, I actually do that, but I understand that you might not. You can, as you learn more about your design, you'll start to sense other people's designs, and that can be a good start. I think I mentioned somewhere that my former partner and I used to go to restaurants, and we could like pick out we could just tell the different types of designs people are once you get familiar with this. And then you realize I could really use that kind of design. So in human design, for those who are new, there's 5 generic types, and that's just the place to start, but it's a very useful place to start. So, so Terry, I can usually tell if somebody is what's called a projector, and I love working with projectors because they have an insight I can't have. On the other hand, if somebody's an out of alignment manifesting generator, I can't get a word in edgewise, and they're too busy to sit down and focus. And so like just knowing that is, and you're smart enough, you can just intuit these things anyway. But if you can't get birth dates, you'll get more familiar with how to sense how people move through the world. And probably the biggest thing to do is you can sense when people are not in alignment. You can sense when they're mind-based. You can sense when they're following all the rules of what they've been told to do. And those are people who probably can't help you that much, to be honest. Anyone who's not and especially in the emerging paradigms, anyone who is not going within and getting clear on who she is not up with the times. This is the era of inside out. It just is. It's another emerging paradigm is the sacredness of the individual, who then links arms with other sacred individuals. And again, a rising tide then lifts all boats. I know that sounds obvious or plain, but it's a profound shift in the way our communities have been run. It's a lot more than you asked for, but that was my answer.
No, that's really helpful, because I think, and I know this just from starting to get to know you a little bit, the more you know your design, the more you can feel your intuition and sense your intuition, and then sense what other people are portraying or showing you.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. You can also slyly find out someone's birthday. You don't have to say what time were you born or where were you born, but you can all sometimes just slyly find these things out and do a preliminary if you really want to geek out. But I think you just said it, as we shift from the mind-based living to authentic, aligned living, these things just, the stuff that isn't solid burns away. It just starts, you just start to see it, talk to the hand, you know. So, any other questions? Okay. Should we have some fun and look at Elon Musk and Oprah Winfrey? And actually my son was really excited because I said, guess what? Your design is a lot like Elon Musk. He's like, really? And actually my son is quite an entrepreneur. It's hilarious. So the reason I called up these designs is because, like I said at the top of the talk here, you can find your way into your design. And I think those who are particularly strong-willed, or I don't know why Elon Musk is the way he is, but he just has always done his own thing. And when you look at his design, which I'll do next, you can see why. Now I'm going to throw up a chart, and a lot of you have not seen a human design chart. So I get that. But here's your Elon Musk. And even if you don't know anything about this, you can see the white and the colors. And where he's white is he's open to inspiration. So up in his head, wide open to inspiration. This is a guy, I think you know, who Tesla and Solar City and SpaceX and the Boring Company, which BORING, which bores tunnels underneath the ground because he got caught in traffic once and thought, hey, we need to have underground tunnels for trains and things. This is a man who doesn't stop downloading. It's incredible, as we know. He's also got aspects to his design where he will manifest. He's called a manifesting generator. He will manifest quickly when he's aligned. So can you. When you're aligned, you can manifest quickly, but it's in his design to sort of crank this stuff out. It gets inspiration, speaks it, it cranks out. He's also got in his design experimentation, where he's not going to know what does work until he finds out what doesn't work. So, you know, if spacecrafts blow up, then he's going to find out, okay, it's just constant experimentation. It's not failure. There's no such thing as failure to somebody with this element of design. I actually have this element as well. I'm not building spacecrafts, but throw spaghetti on the wall. Oh, that didn't stick. All right, next. He's also got leadership lines, which is clear, but also the leadership lines can tend to have people project things onto you if you have those lines. I see this in my son all the time. He didn't really say or do that, but people think he did. Go figure. And Elon Musk also has a very keen ability to see. And I know this sounds obvious because we know who he is, but it's in his design, a very keen ability to see and to discern the right path to things. And there's a shadow of judgment and opinion about it, but if he can rise above that, he is like, you know what a falcon can do? A falcon are those birds that they put the hoods on because they see so much. They can see 360 or something like that. So they have to shade their eyes and they can see, I forget how many miles up in the sky, the lettering on like a cigarette box from way up. So this falcon eye is in his design, which is just fascinating, right? And then just for fun, let's flip over to Oprah. Oprah looks different, right? Well, Oprah, interestingly, she's what's called a generator. So she's got this warm radiance. And in the middle there, you see it's white, which is an open throat. And she's what's called a generator with an open throat. What does that mean? It means her success is going to come by responding to her environment. And she was known as the master interviewer because she asked questions. And that's a fantastic approach for the generators. I'm one of those as well, to ask questions to elicit and to connect with people. And with that open white throat that she's got, basically what that means is she can kind of shape shift and take on different voices, and they can be sort of channeled through her, which is she gave voice to her guests, to her audience. She was open and available. She didn't have sort of a set she was open and available, and I don't say malleable, but flexible, which was what made her so brilliant. She also has a channel of sensitivity, which just means she's highly, highly in tune with people, perhaps to her detriment at times. I have a daughter who has this, which can be like oversensitive, but it worked well for her. She was able to lean into it, speak, respond, and share her gifts with the world. Highest rated talk show for 25 years. Unbelievable. So that's just a little bit of fun of how when you line up with who you are, either in business or in life, things just get easier. So, yeah. So again, just to recap, if you want to be on one of the editions of this Extreme Makeover Business Edition, go ahead and fill out that form application, whatever it's called, communication with me. Or if you think you might want to hop on for a 15-minute consult, also fill that out. I'm trying to sense if that's the right way for me to go. I'm basically trying to figure out, how do I get this out in the world in the best way, because it works, because it's helpful. So that's all I have. And I'm happy to sit and answer questions or just chat a bit, but I'll close it just by saying, thank you for showing up for yourself, for your business, in the world, especially right now with what's going on. You couldn't find a better time to be doing your heartfelt gifts and business in the world, because you women will be the leaders moving forward. It's not the ones who have been the leaders. They may stick around if they wake up, but it's you tuned in, turned on, tapped in women, nothing against men, and I have men in my brain, who are leading the charge. So I am just so grateful every time you beautiful women show up. So thank you. And I look forward to seeing what wants to happen next. We'll just see how this plays out. Barbara says, where do we look in our design to see how many people we should work with? That's in your gene keys. And I will let you know, Barbara. I have your gene keys and I will let you know that. It's called, for any of you who know gene keys, it's in your culture sphere and it's the line number. So this gets a little technical, but do I have any recommendations on books or websites to gather more information to understand your design? Great question. The easiest, Google is easy. jovianarchive.com is good. That's JON archive.com is a great place to go. Yes, thank you. I knew that. I love that quote, Patty, that the world will be saved by the Western woman. The time we get cracking, time we get to receiving and flowing and knowing who we are and just having a great time with it and sharing our goods. Absolutely. Yeah. So, all right. So why don't I officially close this out? Thank you, dear beautiful ones. And I'm going to stop the recording and then we can have coffee clutch if we want to. See if I can remember how to do this.